Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to change the world one brave word at a time. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the authors of a new book we have coming out, Find Your Voice, Save Your Life, 3 Powerful Healers' Spiritual Stories. These women are sharing, I'm going to use the word powerful way too many times today. They're sharing powerful stories of their spiritual journeys. And I happen to be one of the authors in this book this time, you guys. I'm stoked about that. So this is the 3rd book in a series by lead author Dianna Leeder, and it's part of her Voices of Women project. And I'll just start today by giving Dianna a huge thank you for getting this group of amazing authors together. Dianna has a really big mission to help women find and share their voices. And today I'm really excited to introduce you to several of the powerful voices in this book. Welcome, ladies. Thanks for being here. I'm so excited to have you guys. So I have Atlantis Wolf, who is a shamanic life coach who connects people in pain to their personal power, collaborating with her spirit guides, power animals, and galactic dragons. Miss Carly Tway is a sound therapist, crystal worker, and energy medicine practitioner. Jen Bates is a comedian, intuitive empath, and Reiki master skilled in light body attunement and clairvoyance, as well as the founder and CEO of Lighten Up with Jen Bates. And Vila Donovan is a licensed acupuncturist, primary care physician, and galactic ambassador. If y'all can't feel the power that I have in this Zoom room, I don't know when you will. This is amazing. Okay, so Atlanta, start us off with this party. Tell us about the amazing chapter that you wrote.
Thanks so much, Laura. I'm Atlantis Wolf, and I came into this world, this brave healer world. And my goal was just to be good at writing because I was a secret writer, just like I was a secret seer of dragons and a secret seer of people's past lives. And pretty much I just came loaded up with secrets. And I met this beautiful woman, Laura DeFranco, who said, "No, it's fine. Just go ahead, say stuff. Nobody's going to freak out." And I really didn't expect to do anything that day. To be totally honest, it was more just like, oh boy, here's another place where I can hide and I can do stuff. And then this whole story just sort of came out of me, and I believe strongly in divine timing. So I think it was just time for the story to be told. And to be honest, I didn't have a place that I did feel safe, that I could really find people that were my peers, people that could really hold that container. But I found it that day, and I'm more than grateful that I have, because I only had to sort of say it and say it out in public and not in my spiritual community and not with other weird people once. And then I felt like, oh, I didn't vaporize into ash immediately. I didn't, all of a sudden change. I just felt better about myself. So it wasn't so much intentional as the universe was saying, you're going to do this now and don't worry about it because we have a safe place for you to land. So my chapter 23, disarm your fear, because fear always to me feels like it's carrying semi-automatic weapons and is keeping you in place. Complete freedom in one circular breath, because that was my experience and that's what I want to share with the readers.
I'm so glad that you talked about the piece of the community that you fell into. It's obviously one of my favorite topics, because when you dive into a place where you do feel safe and you kind of look around for the first time and realize you really aren't the only weirdo. You are amongst powerful people who may talk a little bit of a different language, only because the world doesn't really know what they don't know in terms of the healing. But I guess I don't really need to ask you how important it was to drop into that community, but I'm gonna anyway.
So for me, it was the difference between being a full person and being like a pinky version of a person. That's how I would describe it, because it doesn't feel particularly brave to be out in a very small community of people where they're all the same. I mean, they're all kind of doing the same thing. But to come into a group where you know people need to hear what you have to say and need to also feel secure themselves, where you really, the gift is in giving both, because it's hello, another me, and you don't realize that there's other people exactly like you that are weird or have different things that they're afraid of, and they don't even know why they're afraid of it, but they just have that with them. So to me it was, I don't want to get too much like this, but it was very much a life and death, because I feel so much more alive. This is my third book. I can't stop. I'm going to, do my own book. I'm going to keep going, but it has created a ripple effect where more people are coming to see me than ever, and they're telling me that's because they feel safe.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to all of you for stepping up, not only to just say yes to the project, but to be willing to share these stories. And Dianna and I spoke about these being kind of spiritual coming out stories, because many people hadn't shared with even their inner circle about what they think and see and feel and their magical gifts. And I am really here to change some of the weird, weirdo, freak, and woo language, like all of that, you guys. What's happening with these communities is we're helping to give other people permission to be their full-on magical, powerful selves, empowered to help other people. And you all know, if you hide, that doesn't do other people any good, because they don't know what's possible, right? I have a really big mission to help the world wake up to what's possible in terms of their healing. And it's why this project has been one of my favorite, because y'all are, man, you're stepping up with the stories. So thank you guys for being badass like that. Carly, tell us about your amazing chapter.
Hi guys. My chapter is chapter 14, learning to trust the whispers of my soul. In the midst of chaos, the soul speaks the loudest. And this story is a very personal and vulnerable story of how I trudged through the darkness of the early 20s of my life and lost everything that I thought that I knew, and really figured out that my soul was speaking to me directly the entire time. It kind of, touches on how when we're young children, we always wish we had some sort of psychic power, and we wish that we could, move things with our mind or something. And we always have these dreams of what psychic abilities or what intuitive abilities look like. And, only in like the darkest moments of your life do you realize that you've always been deeply and intrinsically connected to your own soul's wisdom. And it really does speak the loudest. And you truly are divinely guided by your own soul's journey 24/7 without even realizing it. Sometimes we just don't have the ability or the languaging to realize that it's in the subtleties. It doesn't have to be some big, puff of smoke or like a fire that you see. It doesn't have to be something so visual or visceral. It can literally just be a whisper that you hear in your own mind's voice. So it's just kind of my journey of understanding how my soul speaks through me and how I'm being divinely guided.
So is that also a piece of what you teach every day in your practice?
Absolutely. Yeah. So my mission here is to walk alongside goddesses on their path to the most embodied version of themselves. Like, how do you tap into the whispers of your soul? In what ways does your soul personally speak to you? Is it through, quieting your mind? Is it through clairaudience, meaning your inner ear? Is it through the mind's voice in your own head? Is it actual visions that you see in your mind's eye, like a daydream? And we just kind of, with the women that I work with, we just dive in really deep and figure out what those are to them. Because for everybody, it's so different and so beautiful. And we just kind of work to uncover that and lift the veil a little bit. And once you lift the veil a little bit, it's like opening up Pandora's box, and every other modality of communication with the higher dimensions of your own soul just kind of floods through.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't it have been great, you guys, if back in school somewhere, because I'm not sure where we lose this, right? We're born with this stuff. Some of us lose it along the way and then we recover it later. And yeah, but wouldn't it have been great to have so how do you receive your messages class? Like, and just the uniqueness of that and all of the amazing things. Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. So Jen, let's move to you. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Yes. So thank you, Laura. Thank you so much. I am just so inspired and humbled to be around these incredible goddesses. And wow, it's been a wild ride for me. In 2020, in that stillness and in the meditation time that I always had, but more for performing, more for being present on stage as a comedian, I started to receive messages. I started to receive divine guidance, and it just blew me away, everything I was experiencing. And in August of 2020, I had an angel visit me while I was sleeping. I know it sounds crazy, but it was incredible. And the angel told me that I was going to be a conduit for people's healing. And I'd already achieved a Reiki mastery. And so it was like using all of those elements and understanding of the human body to create light body attunement. So I created Lighten Up. And the chapter that I wrote is chapter 2. It's called Lighten Up, the Frequency of Angelic Humor and How It Changed My Life. And it's really just about that journey into stepping into this. And Atlantis, it resonated with me so much what you said, like stepping into the fullness of my empowerment and my uniqueness and offering it as a gift to help serve humanity in their healing. I mean, it blows my mind. I'm so grateful.
And the guides that we have, they have a sense of humor, don't they? Tell me more about
really
that.
Do.
Yeah.
Oh, they totally do. In fact, in 2020, I was so like freaked out for a long time, and they were just like playing ping pong and like hanging out and laughing and just totally at peace and reminding me like the power of the natural world and what we're really tapped into, and that I really didn't have to fear. So they're tremendous. It's been incredible.
Thank you, Jen. I love to hear you guys talk about what you do. And I have met so many authors who had, I'll just say, serious careers. And I'm talking lawyers and, I don't know why lawyers keeps coming to my head, but military people in places where they're literally, saving the world, like survival type of stuff. And when they heard the messages and had the wake up call or whatever the moment was for them, a lot of them actually just didn't want to hear it. Like there was so much denial there, right? So Jen, for you, one more question on that is like, do you remember when you first were connected like that? Did you, what happened?
Well, all my life, I've had these kind of mystical, multidimensional type experiences, but I didn't have the language to know what was happening. And I wasn't really around people who could reflect back to me. I mean, I loved Oprah Winfrey and appreciated her, after school, what all the guests that would be there and everything I learned. And I've always been interested in that inner struggle and development, which is why I loved acting. I was like so keenly interested in other human beings and what they were feeling, and really sensitive to that. So I think I've always been preparing for this and looking back. But the moment that angel told me I would be doing this, I was like, no, I won't. No, you're crazy. No. And then it was just, I couldn't shake it. It kept coming up. And I just knew I had to follow that pull. So here we are. And it's, wow, it's so humbling.
So here we are. Exactly. All right, Vila, how about you? Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Hi, good morning. My chapter is chapter 6. It's called Healing Ancestral Trauma, Discovery of Our Galactic Family Tree. And my chapter is about my own family and a lot of the struggles that happen within my family through their immigration process and dealing with prejudice in Europe, and my journey in healing that trauma within myself that got passed down generation to generation. And also how one of the points that I make in my chapter is that a lot of the issues that we struggle with on our planet have been passed down through our galactic ancestors. War, pollution, racism, all of these issues are not issues that are just we developed as a species, that they have been passed down through from Atlantis, Lemuria, and out into the galaxy, and that we're here to heal not only our own family issues that get passed down to us, but also heal for the whole, for the galaxy as a whole, for the universe as a whole. And so that's what my chapter is about. Yeah.
So the bigness of what you just said is right. So like, we're not just here to do this healing thing. And especially all of you authors, you amazing people who are sharing these moments of your spiritual life, really coming out to share with people some of that language, like some of what Vila just said. There are going to be people who are like, right. You know, you guys know the look, right? I see it on my dog sometimes, like when he, you know, but this is the thing. This is the whole question about what else is possible. And Vila, I had a great interview with one of our other lead author projects. Amy Gillespie is doing ancestral healing, and we're talking about all about this particular topic. So talk to me a little bit more about the profoundness of this idea in terms of the way the healing spreads.
The way it spreads through families.
Yes, generationally, and all, yeah.
Well, we see it in so many different cultures and minorities on our world, is that when one generation has trauma, whether it's poverty, racism, slavery, all these different issues, when one generation is traumatized, it gets passed down through generations because the parent is experiencing PTSD, anxiety, all these things. So the children grow up in an environment that is a high stress environment. And so then generationally, these things get passed down. And as we begin to heal those things in our society, in our communities, and then within ourselves, it heals for our entire planet, for everybody. And it's something that you can see that our world is really calling out for right now, is to heal that. You see that with the Me Too movement, with Black Lives Matter, all the different movements happening throughout the United States and everywhere to heal these things that have caused trauma for generations. And it's so vital right now to create a better world.
Yes.
Laura, can I just add one more thing to that too? Because what Vila is talking about, sometimes in communities, they talk about the hologram. And that is that all lifetimes are being experienced at the same time. So we're being called in the present to do the ancestral healing because there is a line of thinking where all lifetimes exist instantaneously. And that's part of the science behind the quantum principle behind why, when she's doing the healing, why it affects so many ancestors backwards and forwards.
Another
Absolutely.
really big idea. So listeners, hold on to your, don't let it blow your mind too much, right? Like, but just take a breath. If this is the first time you've heard about this idea, maybe it is, or maybe it isn't. But I think the thing I want people to feel the most is the opportunity and the hope here. That big healing can happen when you grasp some of these ideas. So thank you for that ad, Atlantis.
Yeah, and let me add one more thing too, just even on a more of a microcosm scale, is that as parents heal their own, the trauma that maybe got passed down to them, their own children then heal too, because when our parents heal, the children heal too. And it does heal. I don't have children myself, but if you do, you're actually creating a better, your kids are benefiting from your own healing from the issues that have been passed down in your family too. So it works on the microcosm. And then that's one of the things that I look at is the microcosm of individual families and what that creates. And then if we expand out to the concept of a galactic community, that we're part of a bigger community, not just this planet too. So it's small and really big.
So if you guys can tell, we're bringing a lot of awareness to these topics of healing. And this is going to be the next question for all of you. Carly, I'm going to start the party with you on this one. To me, being a healer is about guiding people on that journey. It's about the awareness. And feeling is the healing. So helping empower people to feel is part of this for me. So what I want to know from all of you, but Carly, you first, is what's your practice of awareness look like in your day-to-day?
There's so many pieces. It's a long time. It's been a long time to be cultivated, I'd say. I think my piece of awareness, I combine traditional talk therapy, I think really brings light to what I'm not seeing, in addition to working with sound, which is kind of what I do as a profession, bringing in sound, bringing in frequency to kind of ruffle things up inside and bring a rise to something that maybe I'm not seeing. Crystal therapy to really have something tangible to hold and to grab and to feel as you tune your awareness inward to see what's going on, what's stuck, what's stagnant, and to be able to have something tangible and physical to be able to move it out. I love to incorporate movement medicine in because I think that there's so many pieces to it, and the movement is something that we sometimes overlook when we're bringing in awareness to what needs to be released from our body or let go. Maybe it's trauma stuck really deep in the body. The movement piece after the sound, after the crystal, is the number one thing that I think just tops it off and really moves things out and brings you to a place of alignment and wholeness. Because not only are you aware of it, you're healing it, you're feeling it with, the meditation with the crystal, but the movement to really remove that energy out of your body. So there's a holistic approach to it. That's the way I look at it. That's how I tap into my awareness. That's how I move energy and heal, basically.
I love that. Okay, I'm going to joke with Atlantis for a minute, but does anyone have crystals to hold up today? Does anyone have them like near them? Like mine are back behind me, so I can't grab them, but I knew that there we go. So I have a couple on the bookshelf behind me. There's like one or two in front of me. I wished I had thought about that earlier.
This whole thing's crystal.
Okay. I was going to say, there we go. Viola's got hers. I looked back at your shelf behind you and I was like, are those shoes? No, those are not shoes.
Crystals everywhere.
I'll be more jealous about your crystal collection than I would your shoe collection. That's awesome. Thank you, Carly. So, okay, Jen, I'm moving to you next. What's the day-to-day practice for you? And I'm really looking for your personal practices here, you guys, to give our listeners an idea.
So it's been a really fast unfolding for me to develop a practice beyond the meditation and yoga. I did find every time I walk, it's so interesting, Carly, you're talking about movement. When I walk and I'm out in nature and I'm really taking in the frequency that nature offers, that is so healing and something I have to do in order to receive messages. It helps me with my writing. I'm also like recording myself talking and then transcribing it through transfer, whatever. So that's really big practice. And earthing, grounding in the earth barefoot, feeling the electromagnetic pulses. I do that every day. I do it after every session. Another thing is I put a crystal grid on the house with another crystal friend who's amazing. And that has healed our family dynamic and helped in so many ways. So I can't pull out the whole grid, but it's here and it's part of it.
There might be some of you who understand what a crystal grid is, and there's everything from tiny to huge ways to do grids with your crystals. Oh my gosh, we could talk all day about that one, right? And also just, you're making me think about, all of the different kinds of ways we could do something new to shift the energy. So far, that's what these tools are. These awareness practices have to do with both coming internally, but then also how do we shift our vibe, right? Shift our energy. Okay, Vila, you're next on this one. What's your personal practice look like?
I'm going to go along with that earthing and grounding. It's really important to me. I live right near the forest, which I'm really grateful for. I like to go into the forest and put my hands on the ground and just sit down and close my eyes, put my hands on the ground and feel Gaia's energy. And I kind of put all the energy that might be circulating in my body, all the different things in my mind, and just put it into the ground, and then imagine receiving energy from Gaia too. That for me has been one of the most healing things, especially over the last 2 years with the stress of COVID and all this kind of stuff going on. So grounding on the earth and feeling the earth with my bare hands, getting dirt and mud on my hands. That's vital for me to just kind of tap into my own awareness. Also, one of the things that I love is belly dancing and listening to drums. The drums it really kind of centers you in your lower chakras and gets you really grounded. And I found that I can just stop thinking, listen to the drums, and just move my body. And it really helps and gets your body moving too. If you have a lot of stuff going on, you just kind of get it out. So those are my two probably main techniques.
Awesome. Love it. You're making me think about something in terms of awareness that I knew, but I didn't know that I was talking about it so repeatedly. But when y'all are hearing the authors and any healer talk about a tool that they're using, the theme is that it grounds and centers you back down into your body in this place where you can feel again. And I think that's just this little summary aha moment I had when Vila was talking about that. When you're all up in your head and you're thinking and you're literally scrunching, like that's when I realized, just take that pelvic bowl breath, get back down, literally. And I remember a time when I was in a class, in my healing career and very beginning, and they were talking about centering and grounding. And I was like, what do you mean? Just tell me what you're talking about, And it's so obvious now. It's literally coming to your center, down, like down there, rather than all up in here. At least that's the way I think about it now.
Laura, can I just add one more thing? One thing that really helped me, because I had a lot of anxiety before performing or whatever. But when I started to receive the guidance to expand my energy out, and with the exhale, so that I'm not like, that was just really helpful. So expand and breathe into the heart.
Yes, love it.
Actually, can I add to just on that topic is one of the things that we're seeing is that people get in the upper chakras, the mind becomes really busy. And if we can bring that and integrate it down into the lower chakras, into the grounding part of the body, that's when all the fears and anxieties and stuff start to go away. And how important that is to integrate the higher self with the self that is here in the lower chakra, the energy. So it is really important to integrate all of that, bring it all kind of together.
Yes, definitely. And I can't think of a time really where it's most needed right now with everyone dealing with everything they're dealing with. Atlantis, chime in on this one. What's your personal practice look like?
So I think the first thing for me and the awareness is the awareness that I have that I'm not afraid to feel feelings. And the reason that I say that is because yesterday I had a fairly huge disappointment. And I happened to be texting my friend when it happened, and she said, "What can I do to cheer you up?" And I said, whoa, I don't need to be cheered up. I don't need to be somewhere different than where I am. And I'm not afraid to be sad or heartbroken or disappointed. I will move and do my thing and get back to a center. But I think the awareness is first that I'm not afraid to feel anything. It doesn't bother me. And the second thing is the awareness, very much chiming into what Jen and Vila were talking about. There's been different points in my life where I understood that I needed to be more physical. And so I just started walking every day. And I live close to the forest too. So I get up every day at 6 a.m. and every single day in all weather. And I don't live in Atlanta. I live where we have 4 seasons and lots of them are quite bitter and cold. But I get up and I just put on different clothes and I walk for an hour into the forest. And I do like a heart coherence, Joe Dispenza, Barry Goldstein little piece, unless I don't need it. And then I listen to the crickets or the wind spirits or whatever I need. But I literally take that hour and say, what am I feeling? What questions do I have that I need to ask the creator or spirit, or what's my next step? And I just step into the day with that openness of, okay, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm into it, whatever it is, I'm really into it. And so that walking, and there are times when it takes me 50 minutes to walk because I'm angry at somebody or something, or something's not going my way. Though there's no wind in my sails, and I'll just power walk right through that. And it feels great. And sometimes I am like a basset hound and I look at everything and I smell everything and I sit down and I look at different things, and it takes me an hour and 10 minutes. But I think for me, it's really critical to touch the earth, walk alone, have time to be by myself, have time to connect with spirit. And it's, to me, that centering is moving from the ego, which is in the brain, into your heart. To me, the center is the heart. It's where the soul is. It's not even like a whole line. It's a physical place. So if I'm away from my heart, then I just go and find myself and bring myself back into my heart. And then I walk myself home and have some Turkish coffee and say, atta girl, go get 'em.
Turkish coffee. So I think one of the most important things that you said, and that I'll summarize too, is that authentic healing is about feeling everything. And I was going to say real authentic healers, they don't even like the word healer because they know that they're just guiding the person to their own way of doing things and their own inner wisdom, right? So as a healer, I'll guide people to feeling and to help them be there. And sometimes just holding a healing space, that's what that means. Like, hey, you can feel what you're feeling, and, to shove it or ignore it or push it over there probably isn't the greatest idea. What if you just felt it? And I know all of you have had moments where the feeling is so intense, you're just not so sure you're going to be able to sit with it for another second, right? We have all been in that big of a heartache. And I think what I want people to understand is there's something about this special community. It's something I want to talk about next, you guys. Okay. So, Jen, starting with you for this question, there's really so much in life that we can't see, but we believe. And I know part of sharing our spiritual stories is to help give other people permission to have the conversations, to help them feel, not crazy or alone, and to provide the community. So tell me about your spiritual community. How has that looked for you? How is it evolving for you? What has it meant to you? Anything in terms of that?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. It's ever evolving for me. And, as I mentioned, I used to just find Oprah Winfrey and read all the books and everything she recommended, but I couldn't, it was really hard to find people that resonated with. I'm not sure why. That's just the way my life unfolded. And, but now the more I speak openly about my experiences and what I've always felt, but I just didn't know. Oh, that's clairvoyance. Oh, that's clear. Oh, that's a dead person. Like, oh, I get it now, and recognizing like all of us do this, like we all do this. We just don't know that's what it is, and kind of helping raise that awareness and that frequency so that we can really all step into that. yeah, I have so many people that have helped activate within me just by them living their truth, and really helped guide me to step into mine. So, and I also got to give a shout out to my dog, because if it wasn't for my dog, I would never have done Reiki, because my dog has so much anxiety, Roscoe Sriracha. And then I walk every day because of my dog. Like, my dog, our animals.
Yes. Oh my gosh, my doggies. I know.
Yeah.
A lot of us have dogs and cats, and a lot of our animals typically try to show up in the Zooms with us all the time, right? Like they just want to be there with you. Amazing little healers. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
So Vila, add what you have on this community idea. What has it meant to you in your journey?
What I want to be clear on the question is what my spiritual community has meant to me on my
Yes.
journey. Oh my gosh. I have had times in my life where I thought, what would I do without the healers? Oh my God, my cat just came in when you said she just walked in. What would I do if it hadn't been for this person or that person? I just feel like someone has shown up in my life for the last, 20, 30 years to just offer me the healing that I needed, the sessions I needed to move through difficult times. And it just seems like it happens magically, like the angels or whatever are guided or guide me to the right people just when I need it the most. And just so many different people in my life that have taken me to that next step. It's like I do my work and then all of a sudden I'm kind of at a moment, and then it just seems like there's somebody there in my spiritual community that will connect me with, like you and Dianna, to do a project like this right at a crossroads in my life, or the right angel worker or something, just to kind of move me through the next phase of my own journey. It's been just vital, the spiritual community, and just vital in my progress.
Thank you, Vila. It's magical, isn't it? Like once
Yeah.
you're immersed, and the thing here too is like, you can't go back, you guys. Once you're in the awareness and in the practice and oh my gosh, the moments just keep showing up. It's fabulous. I love it.
Yeah, it's when you get into trust. Now I'm in a place where I trust that the right person will come into my life for the right situation,
That is a beautiful place to be. You can I have a visual about this, and it is laying back on the floaty mat on the lake. That's my visual of this feeling. It's like, yep, it's all good. Like all I have to do is let go, Atlantis, how about you? I know we talked about this a little earlier in our time here, but tell me a little bit more about what that spiritual community has meant to you over your journey.
So for me, my spiritual community is the shamanic breathwork practitioners and facilitators. And that's where I really sort of came in to know myself more. And it's interesting because very quickly it moved from that's where I feel safe on those retreats, on those workshops, and with those people, to when I actually started to do the training and talk about what I was doing, all of this in the last 2 years. I also sort of just embraced what Native Americans call skunk medicine. And that is to say, this is who I am. Skunks don't think other skunks are stinky. So I'm just going to be weird and stinky. And if you decide that that's too much for you, peace out, and it's good. And so what's interesting is that specifically since the story of coming into the class and sort of saying, yes, there is an ocean of weirdness behind the face that you see, is that really my spiritual community and my community of just people has merged, and now they are the same. I don't have a difference between my spiritual community and my people. I don't go away on a retreat to feel empowered or to feel that I'm accepted, that I'm loved and accepted, and can say, it was really amazing. When I was doing this one session, I actually saw the Archangel Michael. I never thought I would see him because I saw the Archangel Gabriel, and I was kind of feeling like my life is full because I saw one, but now I've seen another one. And can I hurry up and talk about it? And then we can like break open the wine because I have to get it out of my system right now. And they're all like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Bring it on. I'll bring out the bottle. It sounds like a 2-bottle kind of a story. Is that what I'm hearing right now? Okay. So it has changed where now they're the same, and I've just decided, you know, it's all out.
Yes,
So
it's all out. I love that. It
happy.
is all out.
I mean,
But
it's kind of out there. It's a big ocean. So when people are like, "Oh yeah, crystal gritting," I'm like, "Oh yeah, my room's crystal gritted." Oh yeah, that too. So I don't want to be that like person, because the thing is as somebody who carries dragon medicine, I have no ego. Like dragons are egoless. They're just in spirit. And so it's more like a little kid, like, "Oh, you like crystals? Can we play with crystals together? Oh, did you do the thing with the like the cymatic and the, oh yeah, I got one of those too. You want to play with that?" So now it's just like, I feel like going backwards, because that serious job that I had and the serious degree that I had, I feel like I earned the right to be playful and just joyful with whoever I want to be with.
I love that piece. I think part of a healer's journey is getting back to that, the pure joy. And that's part of what we're helping guide people to also. Like, yeah, it's the best ever. Okay, Carly, how about you on this one? So that idea of your spiritual community, what has that looked like? How is it looking now? Just tell us what you want to tell us about that.
Yeah, so like Jen said, it's ever evolving, but I think at the beginning of my spiritual journey, my spiritual awakening, I tried to do everything on my own. I tried to like lone wolf it, and that was, to be frank, very challenging, because it's not meant to be that way. Like, we're meant to be surrounded by community. And once I let go of that, I have to do it all on my own, like a very masculine approach to things. And I was just like, no, community, let people in, let people flow in, like, let yourself be led. Then I found myself in multiple different spiritual communities, and what I could have accomplished on my own in like a year was happening in a week. There's so much power in community, and there's so much power in syncing up your energy with other people that are either like-minded or not at all. Like, everybody's energy being weaved together creates something so beautiful and so powerful. And that's like the number one thing that's really put my life and my spiritual journey and my awakening process and my, just evolution of a human being on steroids is being surrounded by people and not trying to do it all on my own. And communities shift and change over the years, and what once was for you is now totally evolved into something else, but it's also beautiful and divine. And it's like this unfurling of a rose, showing you more and more pieces of what's possible. So if I could say anything to anyone out there, is embrace your weird, and your people will find you. You'll become a beacon of light, and they'll be like, I spot my people. I spot people that are like me. And then they'll gravitate, and you'll gravitate towards them. And then you'll experience like healing and evolution and growth at such an exponential rate.
I agree with everything you just said, and you just dive in, cannonball into that pool, you guys, because it is going to be the best ever when you realize. There was a long time of my life where I thought success meant doing it by myself. And when I flipped that switch, everything happened. Everything good happened after that. Love that, Carly. Okay, ladies, I got one more question. We're going to have to do the speed dating version. You are not going to like telling me one thing, because you're going to have like 10 answers for this. Okay. But Vila, we're going to start with you for this last one. So see if you guys can do this in a sentence or two. I know it's challenging, but we have our viewers and our listeners, and they're hanging in there. They might feel a little stuck still on the journey. What piece of advice would you give someone who might just be stepping on this spiritual path, healing path, to give them one easy entry point? One thing, what would it be?
Gosh, the one entry point would be to receive body work. If they're just starting the spiritual journey, would be to receive some kind of body work, acupuncture, massage, Reiki, something with someone that they feel really safe with. Because when you feel safe and you can let those boundaries down in a healing space, a lot of magic happens there and on your spiritual journey. So receive
love it.
body work.
I love it. That's perfect. That is where my journey started. So I hear you.
Mine too. Yeah.
Atlantis, what's yours?
I think that my advice is just the assurance that it's worth it and that you have a unique path and that it doesn't look like anybody else's path, but that we need you and you're critical to the orchestra. There's a note you bring, there's an instrument that you play, and we are all coming forward because we need you to do the same and we need you to step forward. We need all of us. We will lead you there, but we need you to come with us.
Love it, Atlantis. That one gave me a little goosebumps. Carly, how about you?
I'd say the number one thing would be just to trust yourself. Trust yourself, even when it's hard, even when you feel like you're making it all up or you're not seeing something that's real or you feel like you're totally lost. Just trust yourself, because you more than anyone know what's best for you, what your path sounds like, feels like, looks like. And once you continue to trust yourself, that trust grows and grows and grows. And then it becomes just not even a thought. You're just like, yes, this is my path. So just start to trust. The hardest part is just doing it. So just dive in and do it.
Awesome. Just do it. Yes. And you have to do it even with the fear. Sometimes you have to do it with the feelings, which is, that's part of the hard part, but thank you. Okay, Jen, you're going to close this party out today. What would be your piece of advice to just help somebody ease onto the path? And make sure and unmute yourself, girl. Okay.
Are you ready? That was my intro.
Okay, good.
For me, just allowing everything to be okay. Like, no matter what I was experiencing and how terrified I was, like, to just allow that to be okay and look at it and know and trust that you've got like legions of support. You may not be able to see them, but you've got it. And just like Atlanta said, we need you. We need you to step up and speak the truth. It's time.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, you guys, authors, healers, badass women who I have here today. Thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone. You all are amazing, amazing humans. And speaking of that support, it's right here. You are looking at 4 of the author experts of this beautiful book that we're about to publish, Find Your Voice, Save Your Life 3, Powerful Healers' Spiritual Stories. So join us on November 22nd at 12 noon Eastern, when we're going to have a little live stream party about the book. We're going to be on the Brave Healer Productions Facebook page for that. And I've got you guys linked up down in the show notes with that link. Please, if you've heard something that you just loved or it sparked something in you, go down and click on these authors' websites. Take a little journey with them. Go the next step, connect. All of these authors are very generously here for you to support you. So do check out all of the awesomeness that they have going on. And you might find our authors and a lot of support in Dianna's free group on Facebook, Find Your Voice Women. So we're here to answer questions, support, continue this amazing conversation that we started today. So you're going to find that one down there too. And lastly today, everybody, just remember your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.